Hello everyone, we're dressing Alice and today we're going to sew our Valerie top pattern. So grab your gear and sew along with us. Alright, so what you'll need to do is you're going to print your pattern on A4 or standard letter paper. You're going to cut around the black border and tape it together. Then you can cut into your fabric using your paper pattern. Take out a fabric pen and copy the dots from your bodice paper pattern onto your fabric pieces. This is a guide only. You can place your buttons or snaps wherever you like once you finish sewing. Take out your front bodice and your back bodice pieces. You're going to lay them right side together and sew the shoulder seams together with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. You want to repeat this step for your lining fabric. Alright, head over to your ironing board. You want to iron the shoulder seams flat on both bodice pieces. Lay your bodice on top of your bodice lining, right side together. You want to pin and sew them together at the armholes, the neckline, the center back with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, right side together. Make a cut on your neckline corners, but be sure that you don't cut all the way through your sew line. Snip off the corners at the center back of your bodice. Give the armhole curves a couple of snips so that when you turn it right side out, it will lay flat. Turn your bodice right side out by pulling the back through the shoulder. This can be a lot trickier on the smaller sizes than the larger. Stick with it, you can do it. Head back over to your ironing board and you want to press flat with an iron. What you'll want to do now is separate your main bodice and the lining at the side seams. You're going to pin this right side together at the side seams. You want your main fabric to match your main fabric, and the lining will be pinned to your lining fabric. You're going to sew your bodice side seams with a 1/2 inch seam allowance and double check that it's right side together. Take out your 2 ruffle pieces and you want to lay them flat, right side together. You may notice our ruffle pieces have some random seams in the middle. Yours won't have that, I just ran out of fabric. Now you're going to sew along one long edge and the 2 side edges with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. You'll want to snip off the corners of your ruffle and turn it right side out. Use a blunt pencil or a knitting needle just to get those corners the whole way out. You'll want to iron it flat and then top stitch around the finished edges. You're going to head over to your sewing machine now and you want to set it to its longest stitch length ready for gathering. Sew a line 3/8 of an inch from the tops of your ruffle pieces. This will be your raw edge. Then you're going to sew another line right between the raw edge and the line that you've just sewn. Make sure that you leave long tails of thread so you can pull it together. You want to lay your ruffle wrong side up on top of your bodice. You want to pin your center notch of the front bodice to the center notch of your ruffle, and then pin the edges to the side seams. Pull one set of the tails of thread to gather the ruffle until it fits your top, and then you want to pin to the top layer of your bodice, which is your main fabric. You want to sew down your ruffle to one bodice piece by sewing a line between your two gathering stitches. You want to separate your lining and your main fabric. Make sure you tuck in your ruffle piece and you're going to turn it inside out. You want to pin this right side together and then sew a line a 1/4 inch seam allowance. What you want to do though is leave a gap in the middle so it can be turned out the right way shortly. Pull the bodice right side out through the gap you left, and then you're going to sew this hole closed. The easiest way to sew this hole closed is to top stitch from the right side of the fabric. Now you want to iron flat and top stitch the edges of the armhole, the neckline, and the centre back. Now's a good time to remove any gathering stitches that's left and also cut any loose threads. Attach your snaps or buttonholes to the back of the bodice, and then you're finished. Well done. Thanks for sewing along with us. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out on Etsy. We love a chat.